Namaskaram, Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Loving Sairam to all. Welcome to the inaugural episode of Spirit of Onam, the inaugural episode of our podcast, powered and presented by the Alcove Dove. Welcome to Madhura Aksharam. Today we're feeling very, very blessed to bring you this inaugural Onam episode where we are going to celebrate the happiest and most golden moments that we associate our memories of Onam with. For every Malayali and for every Indian, these celebrations are very special. We feel truly blessed to be having with us every Malayali's pride, Shri K. Jayakumar IAS sir, who will talk to us and share with us some of his happiest memories as a renowned poet, writer, and as someone who has been one of the most eminent personalities in Kerala. He has, as most of us know, been the former Chief Secretary of the State Government of Kerala and has also been the former Vice Chancellor of the Malayalam University. Therefore, bringing you Jayakumar sir to talk to us and share with us about Onam. Once again, we're very thrilled, very happy, and do stay tuned because we have lots of exciting things as part of our talk. We feel very blessed to have you join us and talk about what Onam means to every Malayali across the world and to every Indian, because today Onam has become a universal sentiment and we understand that all Indians want to take part in it. So, sir, as someone who is a renowned poet, the pride of every Malayali who knows your work and the greatness of every word that you've written in your poetry. So we feel very, very blessed to have you with us. You've occupied eminent positions as, the Chief Secretary of the Kerala State Government. You've been the Vice Chancellor of Malayalam University. You're passionate about the Malayali identity, language, culture. And to start this conversation, because our theme is Spirit of Onam, can you please share with us what Onam means to every Malayali and what it eventually means for every Indian with your memories as well?
So thank you for your very flattering introduction. They're of course factual. I occupied all these posts in the government, but that is one aspect of my life. But I'm more proud of being a writer because that connects me with the people and the culture and the history of Kerala. As you rightly said, I had been passionately advocating the importance of Malayalam as a literary language as well as a language of education and all that. As a person who is born and brought up in Kerala,
right,
and having lived fairly long, I can talk about Onam in different perspectives. Onam is not what it used to be when I was a 10-year-old boy.
Right.
Onam is different. Onam was different for me when I was in my teenage or in my early 20s. Then I joined the service and became an officer by the age of 27. For some time I was in charge of the tourism department of the state when we sort of branded Kerala as, as God's own country and all that. And we did a big kind of promotion. Then Onam began to occupy a more pivotal interest of value in positioning Kerala as a destination. Then of course government took over Onam celebrations. So it became a kind of governmental enterprise, Onam.
Right.
Today, Onam, I think, is more of a shopping spree than anything else. But having said that cynically,
right,
typical of Malayalis,
I know.
Cynicism will come in without your knowledge. Having said that with a fair amount of cynicism, the fact remains that in spite of the changed manifestations of Onam,
right,
the manifestations have changed.
Absolutely, it has.
It has to change also. You can't do Onam or celebrate Onam like your grandfather did.
Right.
Times have changed. So I am not finding any fault with the new way of celebrating Onam, the new style of celebrating Onam. Every generation should celebrate Onam in the style befitting them.
Correct.
Suiting their temperament, suiting their requirements. That's okay. So that is a change. But as T.S. Eliot would say, there is a changeless point in the changing wheel or non-changing center in a changing wheel, rotating wheel. When a wheel rotates, there is an imaginary point in the imaginary center of that wheel, which doesn't change. It's only the wheel, the outer wheel, which moves. Likewise, in cultural matters, when changes take place, when manifestations of our expression of Onam or celebration of Onam, that might change, but there is an inner core that doesn't change. I think that is where Malayali has succeeded in blending the changing aspect of Onam with the changeless aspect of Onam.
That is so profound. That is so profound, because I think I can relate to it from
there is a non-changing aspect of Onam amidst all these changes, and the new high-tech Onam and all that. High-tech selfies.
Onam is all about
and somebody
selfies.
Sitting in California talking to your grandmother through your Skype or not Skype or whatever
FaceTime,
it is. FaceTime. All these things are there. So somebody could say that what is this? This is not our Onam. But this is our Onam. You cannot celebrate Onam like your grandfather did, but then we can celebrate the Onam only the way we did. But the spirit of Onam lives on. And what is that spirit? That spirit is a very interesting spirit. It is not a very simple celebration. I would say that Onam is one of the most profound and complex celebration with socio-political overtones, if I may say so.
Okay. I would love to know more about that. I'm really curious.
It's a celebration with profound socio-political overtones. Why I say this is because the myth behind Onam, everybody knows. The legend behind Onam, everybody knows about the Mahabali story and how Vamana came and asked for 3 feet and all that. And he outgrew his size and subdued him. And then Mahabali was asked to go into Netherland or wherever it is, Padal, from where he will get a NOC or entry certificate every year during Chingam, and then he goes back.
True.
Wonderful story.
Yes.
This story, why I say this Onam keeps on living in our midst is, this story is the quintessential Malayali psyche is embedded in this story. Why I say this? Malayali by nature is not with the victor, but with the vanquished. If you look at the Malayalam novels, very successful novels, particularly Tagaris or MTs or Bashir, the heroes of their novels are not great, profound heroes coming on a white horse and saving the princess. No. Right. They are ordinary people with their fault lines.
Absolutely.
They are heroes. M.T. Vasudevan always used to say in Malayalam, I may lapse into Malayalam for a while, he would say that ഏത് കരിമ്പാറയ്ക്കുള്ളിലും ഒരു നീരുറവയുണ്ടോ എന്ന് അന്വേഷിക്കലാണ് എഴുത്തുകാരൻ്റെ ജോലി. That means in the exterior roughness of a man, is there a gentleness in him? Is there a kindness in him? That is the inquiry that is what a writer searches. That is where fiction comes in. Likewise, Malayali is not enamored by the profound hero.
True.
Who is full of virtues.
Correct.
We are very composite people. We have virtues, we have vices. But still we have a lot of goodness in us, humanism in us. That is what we value more. Here, Malayali is not with Vamana.
Exactly. So I was going to say that too.
We are not with Vamana.
Yes,
Vamana might be avatar of Vishnu, great, this thing, all that. Vamana may have his own logic. We are not interested in that. What we are interested in is that we had a very, very just and nice ruler who loved us, who treated everybody equally.
Right.
It was egalitarianism at work, socialism in its primitive aspect at work.
True.
We love that. That is what we are trying to say. We love that. So when that king is exiled, we are with them.
True.
We long for him.
Yes.
We celebrate his arrival. We decorate our floral courtyards,
homes and offices, everywhere.
Just for his imaginary visit of the primordial king, who was just and he was a very sort of the ideal ruler.
Right.
That is the ideal ruler which Kerala is always looking for. That is why in Kerala, except for small exceptions, for example, this ministry was voted back to power, but that happens very seldom in Kerala history.
Right.
We get tired of a particular government in 5 years.
True.
So every year we change. Why? My analysis is that the quintessential Malayali is looking for that ideal ruler.
Understood.
You try a dispensation for 5 years, you are not happy, you change it. So that is why Kerala keeps getting a new government every 5 years, except for this new government which got a consecutive term. Otherwise, we are looking for that ideal ruler who never happens. So we keep on changing. Again, in 1957, when the EMS ministry came in for the first time, a communist ministry,
yes,
who have identified with the poor and the landless and the powerless. And imagine, India is in the throes of the post-independent euphoria.
Yes.
Where Congress party is ruling. Jawaharlal Nehru in his days of glory.
Yes.
There is no alternative to Congress.
No.
And Malayali voted the Communist Party to power.
Yes.
Why? Because we are with the poor. We are with the ordinary person. We are with the defeated persons. So we thought Communist ministry represents our aspirations.
Right.
So Congress party is the victor at that time.
Correct.
We are not.
Correct.
So that is why another thing also when I said the political socio-dynamics, when EMS ministry was dismissed, of course, central government has dismissed several ministries.
True.
But no other state sort of grieves the fall of the EMS ministry as we do in Kerala.
True.
Why? Because that ministry which we voted to power, the communists, the champions of the poor, they were exiled by Vamanas.
True.
By the great power from the north. Huh?
Understood.
The powerful central government exiles them. Actually, every Malayali is looking for the return, in real terms, return of that ideal ruler who has been deposed in 1957 or whatever, the first ministry. So I think that is why I said the egalitarianism as reflected in Onam, plus the political aspects of Onam, these are all deeply set in Malayali psyche. Therefore, Malayali cannot escape or do away with Onam. However you change, the quintessential Onam celebration is there. That represents a lot of humanism, oneness, affection, social solidarity. Everything is blended into one. If you go into Trivandrum or any other city during Onam celebration, you will find there is no class, creed, nothing. True. Everybody blends into one celebratory mood. I think that is... So Onam is not yet another celebration for Kerala. It marks the quintessential Malayalis idea of a celebration.
And so much of our culture too, which is so socially aware, as you rightly said. We are so much with the vanquished. At the same time, there is one part of it which you mentioned rightly. The narrative is also changing. We have a highly materialistic society today, extremely conscious about quality, extremely conscious about education. Are we going in the right direction so far in terms of our cultural belonging and longing to be a Malayali in New India?
See, in our times, in 21st century, when globalization is no longer a myth, it's a fact. Globalization is taking place in all aspects, technologically, economically, emotionally, in your value system. It's globalization taking place. So therefore, Malayali with his aspiration, Malayali's aspiration level is very high.
Right.
Malayali doesn't compromise with a so-so kind of existence. He is aspiring for a very high level of existence. That is why your PQL index, the physical quality of life index, is very high.
Yes.
That is why Malayali borrows left and right. To the extent that he is not able to repay it, and there is the suicide rate is very high because he is trying to aspire for something which he cannot afford. That is there. Right. Economically, we have a lot of problems, but the aspiration level is very high.
Very high.
That is why we have become a consumerist state.
Yes.
We consume so much.
Yes.
Without your compensating or requisite financial power, we have become a consumer state. That is there. But in the 21st century, in the consumer times we live, Malayali's aspiration is guiding him. It is not a wrong thing. He is aspiring to a better life,
right,
where his physical quality is better, where his children are studying in better places. Malayali has a great capacity to dream. What he lacks is pragmatism to match it with economic power.
Absolutely.
That is why your business may not be as thriving as in other places. So I think that is the way Malayali is. You can say that little bit of you are blind in certain aspects, but that is the way we are. We will aspire for the highest, and some of them will achieve also. Some of them will achieve also.
Absolutely. I mean, we are great dreamers, poets at heart, But if you were to ask a Malayali, would you want your kids to be, they don't often say a poet. They would say, I want son to be a doctor or an engineer or lawyer. Not so much, but still.
Again, you know, aspiration.
Yes.
Because my son would like to be I want my son to be a doctor or an engineer or a space scientist. He's aspiring. Poet, after all, what is a poor, humble poet?
Sir, so I have to confess, I have a son who is a poet.
Oh, I see.
And
Very good.
very much a poet at heart. He's writing his second book.
Oh.
So when people kind of hear that, hey, he's a poet, they're like, oh, poet. There is not much of an, kind. So the kind of respect we had for writers and poets, somehow along the way, in the high tide of materialistic aspirations, they have kind of dimmed. I was listening to one of your statements where you talked about the poet's gaze reaching everywhere, dwelling everywhere, and you spoke about the creative intelligence and the real intelligence that poets have, which the world undermines.
Absolutely. You see, you said that when your son is writing his second book of poems, and your friends are not really enthused by the fact that he's a poet, okay, they at best tolerate. The presumption being that he is capable of much better, not writing poetry.
True.
The thing is, just because he's writing poetry, that doesn't mean that he's a poor student. His intelligence quotient will be very high. You should encourage him for all those things, and poetry will always be there. Poets, as I said, are very intelligent people. But it's not the kind of intelligence that is required to make a successful business and all that.
Yeah.
But we look at a larger picture, we are aware of larger issues, which doesn't concern you directly.
True.
But it is your concern.
Yes.
It is your concern. I think that kind of people are actually the counterbalance. Poets and writers are the countervailing forces in a highly selfish society. In a highly consumerist society where everybody is so sort of self-centered, I want this, I want this. Here are a set of people who are not bothered about themselves but worried about the world, worried about society. That is a countervailing force. I think that is a balance. Without poets, without writers, Kerala society would be totally skewed.
Absolutely.
In favor of only materialism, blind materialism.
Yeah.
There are voices like us. In fact, I wrote a book called Lalita Jeevitham in Malayalam, which is translated as Simple Life.
Okay.
That was during COVID time. In 2020, you can't get out. There is a lot of embargo and all that. I was just wondering, what is the point of all this? You have a little bit of money in your bank, okay, comfortable living. There is a vehicle in the car garage.
Absolutely.
But nothing is possible. You have two options. You can live a miserable life saying that, okay, I can't do anything, I can't get out. But then nature has given you all options to enjoy life.
Yes.
Provided your scale is different. Your scale has to be such that you are capable of enjoying the simple things of life, simple joys of life. Unfortunately, we make our life so complex. Nothing can make you happy, because the moment you are happy with one thing, you want something else. That is, and nothing can make you happy. It is not the things that make you happy. That is it. Nature has given you everything. Even a dewdrop can make you happy.
Yes.
A flower can make you happy. Only thing is you have to live in the present. Live in the present, and happiness cannot come from anywhere else. You might stay in a 5-star hotel or a 7-star hotel, but if you are worried about something,
absolutely,
if your child is not well at home, you can't enjoy the comforts of. See, you are always thinking. Likewise, people also think about your business. I have invested so much. Where is the time to enjoy a beautiful sunset, a glorious sunset? That is why Shelley wrote long ago saying that we look before and after and pine for what is not.
Yes. That is true.
We pine for what is not and miss what is.
Very true. Very
so my book is all about leading a simple life. I don't practice so much, but of course attitudinally I am a very simple person.
I can experience
simple
that
life,
in
simple
person.
lifestyle.
Yes, I see that, yeah.
I don't require extra things like your branded shirts and a very expensive watch to make me comfortable. Not at all. I know that I'm not going to be defined by all these brands. Rather, I shall define the brand.
Exactly, sir. And so you mentioned something about, which I think is very profound, living in the present.
Absolutely.
Which my Guru Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba used to always emphasize on living in the present. Oh,
it is his.
That is so wonderful.
He
So-
gave to me. Swami gave to me.
Oh, that is Swami's blessing, definitely.